Welcome, exiles! I present to you a totem that does 130 million damage by itself. One totem does that much damage. That is 2 Cyruses per second skilled. That's a whole ton of damage. And it's not actually all the damage that this build can do. One disclaimer, this is not really possible in game. You can probably get to 100 million damage on that totem, but it's gonna be expensive. You can get up to 80 million damage on a reasonable budget. Just saying, I'm still working on a build. This gear and setup, I'm calling it 1000 mirrors gear and setup. That's never gonna exist in game, but is the way to test what is possible. And then I just go and downgrade the things to be realistic. And then I'm going to make a build guide. Actually, I'm gonna first test the build in game, but then I'm gonna make a build guide. But it's really exciting what I managed to pull off, so I want to share it right away so we can talk about it. Maybe you guys come up with some ways to improve this whole concept. Maybe you find some interesting mechanic that you can include in your builds, and we make a really awesome builds together. So what do we have here? How much damage does this thing do if you had this much currency to invest in it? Well, we have this Ancestral thingy that does 130 million damage. I will have to pin this one on top if it wants to stay on top. Hopefully it wants. Then we have the Protector, which does 31 million damage. So we have... Actually, let's multiply this first. So we have 2 of these, which is 31, I guess 62, but like 31. 9, 3, 2, 6, 7, 4 times 2. Because they have 2 of those. Those are supported by multi-totem. Then I have this, which is the main guy that does 138 to 6 to 6. And that's almost 200 million damage. But build actually has more to offer. Ignore the Cyclone, that one's for just testing. You can like not run the 6 link on a totem, you can run Cyclone instead of that, and that also does like almost the same damage. But if you want it to be pure totem, you can, but I'm not going this route, so I'm not disabling my skills because I want to have Fortify, I want to have a way to generate rage, I want to have frenzies, a whole bunch of goodness, and this thing is simply not worth it for me. +1 totem from somewhere else would be nice, but it doesn't exist, since the only way to get +1 totems is on a shield, and I cannot use shields, so that's a bummer. You could do it on a Phase Breakers build, but this is another 24 million damage, so 24, 6, 7, 8, 0, 5, 6, 220 freaking million damage. Even if you did like half of that, it would be insane. And trust me, on a really crappy budget, you can definitely do half of that. Not that crappy budget, but you have to have a 6 link and few other items, but maybe, I don't know, 10x. You can definitely do more than 100 million damage. And you would have still, you could drop a whole bunch of stuff to get more defenses. That's also included into that calculation. So I have to drop these things a bit down. As I'm saying, this is 100 mirrors gear. That's never gonna be used. But I'm gonna make another one. Actually, these do not really need to exist, honestly. So this one is 100, actually 1k mirror gear, 1000. I keep mixing those things from time to time. Anyways, we have mirror gear. I'm gonna downgrade that to maybe, I don't know, 50x budget. Then I'm gonna downgrade it to 10x budget. Then I'm going to downgrade it to cheapskate, and just like having a 6 link and everything else is 1 chaos. And then I'm going to downgrade it to rare item with 6 links, So you have like full progression, so you can easily follow along with the build. But this is something that you, hey, this is how much damage we can do. There you go, like, that is not possible. Anyways, getting back to how the build works and all the game mechanics that go into this thing, our Ancestral Warchief gets heavily scaled through Ancestral guidance. You can see these nodes give me a ton of damage. I found out about increased effect of buffs granted by your active Ancestral Totems through this Panopticon thingy here, and that's how everything basically started. It's pretty crazy. Build concept, I never actually played Totems much, but I think even though like the whole Totem playstyle might be a bit sluggish, I don't think it's gonna be that sluggish, since we have really high speed for placing our Totems, so it's not gonna feel really weird. You can place them fast. You just place the Totem somewhere in front of you and dash towards there. Everything's gonna be there. You can loot it, and then you place the Totem further. The Totem kills stuff. You looted the stuff in front. You dash there, you loot that, and you just keep placing Totems. So it's a really good build for noobs, because a lot of new people loot too much stuff. And even if they had a really good clear speed build, they are not using it properly, since they're gonna be stopping to loot stuff. And while if you're gonna stop and loot stuff, you might as well put a Totem in front of you that's gonna kill everything in front of you, and then you just dash towards there and pick up stuff, if that makes sense. The other playstyle is you dash, you hit the thing, you one-shot that, you don't loot anything, maybe you loot like one thing from there, you dash forward, you slam or do something like kill the whole screen of mobs, and then you dash again, poof, dash, poof. That's the usual play style of many builds that are considered really high clear speed, or some builds that are actually auto-bombing stuff, so you do not even hit stuff, you just like start the loop that keeps recasting stuff. It could be heralds or something, and just walk, or it could be the other spell that's not a cyclone but it goes around you. I don't know. It should be, it's not arterial knives, doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter, but that's the playstyle. You just like dash and dash and dash, but you leave a lot of stuff behind. And if you're a new player, Totems are probably one of the best styles for you, because you place the Totem in front of you, it kills stuff, you're looting stuff that dropped already, you just dash, loot stuff. Before you start looting, you already place the Totems in front of you, and just keep going. It's a really comfortable style for mapping. And this particular variant is gonna be one-shotting bosses on a budget, so that's gonna be really nice build. It's probably going to be the best build that I've made so far. It's gonna do a lot of damage. I'm really excited to try this in game, but I don't wanna waste time and currency in respecking stuff, so I have to test a few more things before I actually go in game. Let me give you an introduction. How does this thing work? I mean, we already seen Ancestral guidance and that kind of stuff. Let me show you the skills a bit. So Warchief is scaled heavily through Impale. Impale gives a lot of damage, and we are also scaling the Impale through two nodes here. We have some chance to Impale here and chance to Impale here. Usually if you can get some other chance to Impale, you drop one of these things. You need to have 100% chance to Impale, but you don't need more than 100%. It's wasted. So if you go, for instance, Champion, he has another 20%. You drop this thing because this gives 20%. This 50% chance to Impale, there's like 10% chance to Impale. That's already overkill. So you drop this thing or you drop this thing depending on your pathing, basically. And you can check your chance to Impale in calculations, you have impale chance, and you can see I already have 100%, so I have already enough. I don't need any more. So you scale damage through impale. Impale lasts 5 times on an enemy, and it's basically like at the start it ignores enemies' physical reductions like armor and everything. It like basically doesn't care about that, and it's like 50% more damage, but it also ignores the armor and physical reduction, so they actually way more damage. And it also, you can increase like how many impales you have on a target. As a start, you have 5, each one is like 10% more damage and ignoring the armor. And then you can add 2 more through the Watcher's Eye or to Master of Metal if you're going champion. And that scales your DPS like crazy. Then you have Brutality, which you don't deal elemental or chaos damage, which is a-okay with me, since I don't have to care about elemental damage. But I don't really actually have to care because it's a totem. If it dies, I don't care if it died. It doesn't die like too often, but still, it should be one-shotting everything, and it probably won't die that often. Consecrated effect. You can do something else if you want like more clear speed, but it gives the most damage. Melee physical damage, and then we have I think we don't have this here. That's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have Bloodlust, which is something that I recently just figured out. So with this gem, you cannot inflict bleeds, but you deal 60% more physical damage against bleeding enemies. So something else has to inflict the bleed, so you can have that more damage. And how do we do that? Well, we have another like 5 link, which is in the Hungry Loop ring, and it has chance to bleed. So if we switch to the Protector, you can see he's bleeding enemies. He has, I don't know, where is it? You have to switch to him. Actually, this one does more damage. Should be, we go this one. It has like 30% chance to bleed, which is probably enough, since on bosses it's gonna hit 16 times per second. Actually, it should be more. 16 times per attack rate, so like he's definitely going to inflict that bleed at some point, and the bleed will last long enough. So for bossing, it's gonna be there. That if you actually wanted to have the sustainable damage, then you would go with Maim or Fortify. Actually, not Fortify. I think you would go with Maim, probably. That's on the wrong thing, on Warchief. You would go with Maim, and it would do a bit less damage, but you would have it all the time. But I want to try this out. And I also... So this has chance to bleed, it has Impale, Brutality, it also does a lot of damage. We have 2 of those. Actually, we don't have 2 of those, since I don't have a multi-totem. Multiple totems, then I have to... Actually, I have multiple totems, sorry. I do have it already. So that one does like... because of multiple totem does less damage. Should be doing less damage. Something is being really, really weird. It should be able to be supported by multi-totem. I have to kind of test that out, but I know that that works. Not sure like what is going on there. And testing things in-game is really good idea at the end. And we also have Frenzy, which has Fortify and Maim to just maim enemies a bit. And Fortify. Maim gives it, I think, the most damage. I could probably add something else to it, so I could call here instead of on I actually don't have Call, I kind of removed it probably. But I think I had Calling Strike here, then I wanted to do the multi-totem and bleed. I have double multi-totem, that's why it's not working. Chance to bleed. Okay, so it has chance to bleed. It has multiple totems. And you can see, yes, that it reduces its damage. But you have 2 of those, but they do 21 less damage. 21% less damage. So I would maybe drop... I would probably not drop anything from here because it's gonna gimp its damage quite a bit. I would add, instead of Maim, I would add Calling Strike here, so I can finish off bosses, for instance. I could probably also swap those gems because I wouldn't really need it for mapping. I could pop Calling Strike for Cyrus, but maybe it's not even needed. Honestly, you're gonna phase him anyways, so Calling Strike might be completely useless. We have to test that out in game, obviously. This build doesn't actually use this Cyclone, that's for other thing. I already presented that in a different video, so in that video I shown off this thing, which is max Cyclone damage that can be achieved. If you want to check that video out, it's kind of explaining the same things. I mean, it's basically the same concept of a build, just with different skill. And we'll see like what is kind of better. I was kind of always leaning towards Cyclone because it's a playstyle that I like. It's just like cruise control and just go through enemies. But the Totem can be really nice playstyle for new players and for looting stuff and just chilled playstyle. So I might try this first, then I'm going to try the Cyclone. If I don't like Totems, I can really easily switch to the Cyclone, since the Cyclone is getting its damage scale through Ancestral Totems. When they are active, they are giving a huge boost. They give like... this one gives 18% more damage while Totem is active. For regular one, for wall version, does 32% more melee damage while Totem is active. And this one, the Protector, gives attack speed, so it gives 20% more attack speed while Totem is active. But those buffs are getting multiplied by 50% here, 30, 30, 30, 30. 30, 30, that's a lot of multiplications there, and it's a lot of damage. So yep, that's the explanation. Look forward to like making the full version that can be used in game with a gear that's achievable, and I'm gonna make a build guide for both Cyclone and this once I tested them in game. But I really wanted to quickly give you a showcase of things that I'm working, and maybe somebody can give me some idea how the things can be improved, so we can make it even crazier. And I will keep pushing these updates as I make some new discovery. I'll let you know, and we're going to level this thing soon and test it out. Anyways, exiles, this is all. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.